I love Jim Jones. Jim Jones is one of my favorite artists. I was a Diplomats fan for a very long time. Jim Jones is currently the definition of what hip hop is in its current state: cocky, overconfident, and being master manipulators. I watched this clip from the Joe and Jada show, and it's a clip about Jim Jones and Nas.
Kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in '03. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck here.
Yeah, but
like, let's keep it a buck. You heard? Let's keep it a buck because you'll bring it up. There must be some type of misconception or what's that word? When it comes to Jim Jones and what Jim Jones have done in this game. Gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum albums. No, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record. Then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries. Then check all them niggas' entries and shit like that. And I'm not taking nothing away from nobody. But I hear the comparisons and the niggas be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this shit. I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on. So let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I got to show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. If you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries, then pull up my billboard entries.
Jim Jones has a great body of work. I'm being real with y'all when I say that. He does. El Capo, underground classic. Wasted Talent, another underground gem that people don't talk about. He had a nice mixtape run. But when you compare yourself to Nas, you got some balls, brother. You got some cojones on you. Nas is one of those people that consistently gets disrespected out of all of the greats. He has always been top tier MC, top tier rapper. Here's the thing. We are confusing being relevant with being great. Jim Jones is relevant, very relevant. He's relevant right now because he stays in the trenches. He's with the younger acts. He even gives the younger acts a platform on his albums to be able to get out there. No other OG is doing that right now. And I understand why he's relevant. The video with the 22-year-old talking about how much more relevant Jim Jones is than Nas makes sense because he's out here. He's on ground level. Here's an example. Look at it this way. Jim Jones is the equivalent to Daredevil in Marvel Universe. A lot of y'all watch Marvel shit. Jim Jones is street level. Jim Jones handles the street level crimes. He fights Kingpin. He fights niggas like that. Every now and again, Jim Jones or Daredevil gets called up and the Avengers like, we need you on some fighting shit, my nigga, because you know how to handle these streets. You know your way around here. We need you. We'll call you up every now and again. So that's cool. Guess who's doing the call up? Nas. Nas is more of Iron Man. Stay with me. Nas is one of the people who've been up here putting niggas together, been making the shit relevant for a very long time. And Nas is just too far up in the clouds to be thought of anymore. Street level niggas ain't looking for Iron Man like that. And then when you need to fight somebody from outer space, you're not gonna call Daredevil to do that shit. You're gonna call Iron Man. Hey, yo, these Thanos and them is tripping. We gotta like fight these niggas. You're not finna pick up the phone and call Daredevil. Just saying. There's steps and levels to this shit. Jim Jones is the smartest nigga in the world because telling people to look up the catalogs and look up the placements and all this other stuff, he knew that was gonna give him more traction on the timeline, on the algorithm. See, what we're failing to realize is Jim Jones is a hustler. And that conversation was a hustle tactic. Jim Jones know he ain't got the billboard placements like Nas does, but he knows that when niggas see that video and they start looking him up and then they start they see what he's talking about, they're either gonna A, turn away and say this nigga lying and type it on Twitter, or B, they're gonna look up his catalog and kind of see what his music is sounding like for real, because they never really heard a Jim Jones album. See, Jim is about that paper, bro. He's about that bag. So whatever he has to say to be able to get people to put his name in the algorithm or move shit around so he can be heard and thought of, that's what he's gonna do. I think Jim understands the game. And he understands when you put Jim Jones' names with Nas's name, things are gonna happen, and people are going to listen more or talk more about him. This is all just a plot to be able to manipulate the algorithm to get him to be talked about in the same breath of Nas. I have not seen Jim Jones be on the timeline so much than he did this past week in a very long time. And be honest with you, I think we're taking it way too serious by saying he's just as great, because a lot of your favorite podcasters are saying the same bullshit. Oh, he's not as great as Nas. That's not the conversation. Jim Jones made that the conversation, but that's not the conversation. The conversation is who's more relevant. And you can go all the way back to the Nas 21 Savage song and see Jim is more relevant than anything else. You guys don't remember the Nas 21 Savage beef that happened? It was a whole thing. Anyway, I think Jim Jones played his hand correctly, especially when he knew his name was going to be out there, talking about the relevancy and all this other stuff. Jim's just trying to get a bag, bruh. He ain't really about that whole I'm better than Nas, even though they had a beef at one point in time. Kids go look up the Jim Jones Nas beef. That's a real thing. But at the end of the day, we know what Jim is doing. I know what Jim is doing. Jim is most definitely putting his name out there to be able to catch another bag somewhere else. He's probably got an album dropping. I'm pretty sure we're about to hear a Pusha T diss, because remember, the Clips and Pusha T, or Pusha T and Jim Jones have a little bit of a back and forth going on, and it's on Push to be able to answer to Jim. All this shit is connected, bro. It's like you got to learn how to connect these dots. That's how you control the algorithm a lot of times. It's a funny thing. But let me know, is Jim Jones better than Nas in your eyes? Is it more about relevancy than it is about the raps? There's a conversation to be had, and it's in the comments.